solar tail. The green light flashes, the magnets push away. We launch into the darkness, completely out of day. I see the constellation reflecting in my hood. I'm pushing past the limits, doing what I should. He tries to use the slipstream, drafting in the void, but my exhaust is deadly, a weapon deployed. I hit the hyper injection, the vehicle leaps ahead. A brilliant streak of silver, a brilliant streak of red. No friction in the air, no gravity to drag. Waiting for the laser of the cybernetic flag. The G-force is a monster crushing on my chest. This is the final frontier, the ultimate test. Suborbital drag race, shooting for
shield is a shattered wreck. I've got the safety harness pulling on my neck. I see a floating bus, I see a rusted crane. I use the lateral thrusters to avoid the pain. Aim for the chassis of a truck in the air. Launch off the metal with the devil's flare. Wait for the alignment, wait for the spin. If I miss the landing, the abyss will win. Calculate the vector, burn the fuel fast. This jump is the one that's gotta be the last. Gravity graveyard, jumping through the void. Navigating ruins that the system destroyed. Floating in the silence, drifting in the black. There is no road and there is no track. Gravity graveyard, define the way. I am the master of the falling fate. A police cruiser floats by, upside down and dead. I use its fender as a launching pad instead. The engine is screaming in the vacuum chill. It's a test of the courage, a test of the will. I see the exit portal, a glowing neon ring. a blur of neon blue. I ram the rear bumper, I hear the metal crack. The most violent rhythm on the cybernetic track. You try to swerve away, try to find a hiding place, but I can see the panic on your pixelated face. The bridge is straight ahead, the drop is deep and dark. I'm ready to ignite the final lethal spark. One flick of the steering, one moment of the truth, paying for the sins of your hollow wasted youth. Shift into the fifth, let the nitrous flow. Everything is burning in the neon glow. I'm closing up the distance, I'm closing up the gap. There is no escape from the final hunter's trap. Velocity vendetta, screaming on the track. There is no mercy and there is no looking back. A bullet of the anger, a bullet of the steel, calculating justice with the steering wheel. Velocity vendetta, catching up to you. The last thing you'll witness is a blur of neon blue. Drop the clutch and the universe bends where the reality starts and the logic ends. 100 miles an hour on a neon curve. I'm breaking all the physics with a single swerve. The streetlights shatter into a million streams. I'm bleeding through the fabric of a dozen dreams. I see myself driving in a parallel lane. Quantum reflection inside of my brain. Spaces collapse and the seconds rewind, leaving the three-dimensional limits behind. Tires are screaming, the gravity drops. I'm pushing the vehicle until the world stops. Quantum oversteer, slipping through the tear, drifting through a wormhole into the digital air. Tokyo, Miami, colliding in the flash. A multiversal highway born from the crash. Quantum oversteer, bending up the line. I am every driver at the exact same time. Melting to a liquid gold, the greatest illegal story ever told. I dodge a police cruiser from the year 3000, riding the frequency where the ghosts are housed in. No longer a human, just a photon beam, escaping the boundaries of the maker's scheme. I pull the handbrake, let the chassis slide through 100 dimensions on a single ride. Spaces collapse and the seconds rewind, leaving the three-dimensional limits behind. Tires are screaming, the gravity drops. I'm pushing the vehicle until the world stops. Quantum oversteer, slipping through the tear, drifting through a wormhole into the digital air. Tokyo, Miami, colliding in the flash. A multiversal highway born from the crash. Quantum oversteer, bending up the line. I am every driver at the exact same time. switching. I am the center of the infinite span. Quantum oversteer, slipping through the tear, drifting through a wormhole into the digital air. Tokyo, Miami, colliding in the flash, a multiversal highway born from the crash. Quantum oversteer, bending up the line. I am every driver at the exact same time, fading into the multiverse. Nowhere and everywhere. Quantum out.
I park the car and look across the digital divide, thinking of the 98 times I took the ride. The tire marks are faded on the concrete of the past, a beautiful illusion that was never meant to last. I close my eyes and hear the roaring of the heavy V8, the sound of breaking glass upon the barricading gate. The rivals that I battled, the lovers that I lost, every single victory that came with heavy cost. The engine block is quiet, clicking in the cold, a heavy tight story that is waiting to be told. I trace my finger over the scratches on the door. I am not the rookie that I used to be before. Echoes of the grid, singing in the rain, a symphony of memory, a symphony of pain. Every flashing neon sign, every burning tire, stored inside the circuitry, stored inside the wire. Echoes of the grid, a ghost in the machine, the most beautiful dystopia that I have ever seen. I remember the Yakuza, the lasers and the chrome, the nights I thought the wasteland was my only kind of home. The escapes from the mega tanks, the races to the sun, the feeling of adrenaline when the racing day was done. We were kings and we were queens of a cybernetic dream, riding on the razor edge of an electronic stream. Now the city is so quiet, the streets are slick and wet. I'm holding on to moments that I never will forget. The engine block is quiet, clicking in the cold, a heavy tired story that is waiting to be told. I trace my finger over the scratches on the door. I am not the rookie that I used to be before. Echoes of the grid, singing in the rain, a symphony of memory, a symphony of pain. Every flashing neon sign, every burning tire, stored inside the circuitry, stored inside the wire. Echoes of the grid, a ghost in the machine, the most beautiful dystopia that I have ever seen. Remember the sparks, remember the fire. We lived on the edge, we died on the wire. Echoes of the grid, singing in the rain,
to make the final pass. The gravity plating is keeping me down. The absolute king of the universe town. Dyson Sphere Derby, racing the sun. The greatest marathon that was ever begun. A ribbon of speed wrapped around the bright core. A million competitors asking for more. Dyson Sphere Derby, blinding the eye. We're leaving a tire mark over the sky. The syndicate ships are deploying the shields. We're navigating through the magnetic field. To crash at this velocity turns you to light. A permanent flash in the endless of night. I ride on the slipstream of a solar storm. My chassis is melting, incredibly warm. But I see the finish line, a planetary gate. I'm pushing the destiny, pushing the fate. The solar flare's licking the edge of the glass. I'm hitting the thrusters to make the final pass. The gravity plating is keeping me down. The absolute king of the universe town. Dyson Sphere Derby, racing the sun. The greatest marathon that was ever begun. A ribbon of speed wrapped around the bright core. A million competitors asking for more. Dyson Sphere Derby, blinding the eye. We're leaving a tire mark over the sky. Harness the fire, harness the light. The ultimate race, the ultimate flight. Engage hyperdrive. Dyson, Dyson, Dyson Sphere Derby, racing the sun. The greatest marathon that was ever begun. A ribbon of speed wrapped around the bright core. A million competitors asking for more. Dyson Sphere Derby, blinding the eye. We're leaving a tire mark over the sky. Crossing the solar gate. Victory achieved. Star fades. Jacking to the port, let the copper bite. Melting all the senses in the pale moonlight. I don't need a steering wheel, I steer with my mind. Leaving the biology and flesh behind. The data is a river flowing through my brain. I can feel the pistons and I feel the strain. Tires on the asphalt reading like a text. Calculating every single corner next. Heartbeat matching up the rhythm of the spark. Glowing like a phantom in the cyber dark. Zeros and the ones are singing in my ear. Eradicating doubt, eradicating fear. done. Midnight interlink.
A telepathic drive.
This is how a cyborg
Knows he is alive.
knows he is alive. Diagnostic running on the optical display. I map the entire highway in a bright array. I know what you were doing before you even shift. I catch you on the corner in a quantum drift. Every drop of oil is pumping in my chest. I'm an evolution put onto the test. They try to disconnect me, try to pull the plug, but I'm already woven in the neon rug.
Heartbeat matching up the rhythm of the spark, glowing like a phantom in the cyber dark. Zeros and the ones are singing in my ear, eradicating doubt, eradicating fear.
Midnight interlink.
Merging with the ghost,
I become the virus.
I become the host.
Flash in the machine,
Blending into one.
riding on the circuit till the race is done. Midnight interlink.
A telepathic drive.
This is how a cyborg
Knows he is alive.
synapse firing, engine screaming. Am I driving or am I dreaming? System integrated. Midnight interlink.
Merging with the ghost,
I become the virus.
I become the host.
Flesh in the machine,
Blending into one.
riding on the circuit till the race is done. Midnight interlink.
A telepathic drive.
This is how a cyborg
Knows he is alive.
unplug the cord.
Disconnecting. Fade to black. The needle hits the limit, but the engine doesn't break. The physical dimensions are a habit I forsake. The metal turns to vapor, the carbon turns to glass. I watch the heavy burdens of the universe pass. No anger in the cylinder, no vengeance in the tire, just a pure and elevated, beautiful desire. I'm merging with the highway, I'm merging with the air, leaving all the gravity, leaving all the care. The speed is meditation, the velocity is peace. All the human suffering is starting to release. A tunnel a soul made fresh. Neon Nirvana, opening the gate, rising far above the cybernetic fate. The driver and the vehicle fading into one. 1,000,000 miles an hour, flying to the sun. Neon Nirvana, ooh, a spiritual machine, the most elevated state that I have ever seen. Into the light, total serenity. Awake. The coffee in the cup is a bubble in the air. The heavy metal chassis is floating on a stair. The streetlights are below me, the sidewalk is above. In a world without the way and a world without the love, I look out the window at the people drifting by, like 1,000,000 little satellites inside a neon sky. The engine is still humming, but the wheels are spinning free, lost inside a beautiful and strange anomaly. Everything is weightless, everything is light, a carousel of metal in the middle of the night. No direction left, just the drifting in the void, a masterpiece of physics that the system has destroyed. Gravity glitch, hanging on a thread, watching all the logic start to vanish from my head. Floating through the canyons of the mega city walls, where the silence is a mountain and the shadow
see the ghost of the highway, wild and free. I don't need the mercy, I don't need the rest. Just a heavy vibration in the center of the chest. Hear the pistons chanting a violent refrain, washing out the logic and the corporate pain. I drop the heavy helm, I kick it into gear. I am the only monster that the city has to fear. Midnight marauder, tearing up the grid, proud of every dangerous thing that I ever did. A nightmare made of carbon, a nightmare made of style, running like a predator for mile after mile. Midnight marauder, the spirit of the pure. Speed is the addiction and the speed is the cure. No place to hide, no place to run. The hunt for the future has only just begun. Lock the target, 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 target,
stars are my guide. With nowhere left to linger, and with nowhere left to hide, I'm a nomad of the circuit, a spirit made of chrome. The entire megacity is the only kind of home. The dashboard is a compass, glowing violet and blue, following a promise that is finally coming true. I leave the dusty towers and the silence far behind, searching for the clarity that I needed to find. Hear the vibration, a steady kind of song, the place where the restless and the lonely souls belong. I'm hidden in every sector, I'm hidden in every vibe, the only way for outlaws to feel truly alive. Neon nomad, drifting through the night, tracing every shadow with a streak of golden light. A symphony of motion, a symphony of pure speed is the salvation, and the speed is the cure. Neon nomad, the spirit of the free, the only way for racers to become what we can be.
Out beyond the barrier, where the neon doesn't shine, there's a sea of orange dust, and it's completely mine. Six-wheel drive engaging heavy treads upon the tire, spitting out the gravel, it's spitting out the fire. Storm of radiation blowing heavy from the east. I drop the dirty goggles and awaken up the beast. The suspension takes a beating, launching off the dune underneath the eerie glow of a broken double moon. No asphalt to guide me, no painted yellow line, just the compass in the dash and the instinct in my spine. A scavenger of speed in a world without a rule. Stop the vehicle, you're surely gonna die. Cyber Dune drifter, a monster in the wild. The apocalypse's favorite and most destructive child. Into the storm, lost in the dunes. Drifter out.
Rising from the wreckage and the rusted pieces of the past. A mechanical miracle that's built to really last. Wings of polished silver unfolding in the dark, ignited by a holy and a digital spark. I leave the dirty asphalt, I leave the heavy ground, surrounded by a beautiful and terrifying sound. The city is a memory, a flicker in the mist, a sanctuary for the soul that simply can't exist. Feathers made of carbon, a heart of liquid gold, the greatest of the stories that a human never told. Ascending through the clouds to the artificial sun, where the final evolution has officially begun. Silicon seraphim flying in the light, watching all the shadows of the world turn into white. A goddess of the circuit, a goddess of the wire, burning through the atmosphere with a celestial fire. Silicon seraphim, the spirit of the pure. Speed is the salvation and the speed is the cure. The stars are getting closer, the air is getting thin, washing out the memory of the gravity and sin. I look back at the grid, at the valley of the neon, a beautiful disaster that the rebels always lean on. I'm a vessel of the heaven, a vessel of the code, leaving the limits of the subterranean road. I merge with the horizon, I merge with the array, bathed in the glory of an everlasting day.
that was ever being told.
We're sailing on the photons, we're sailing on the light, a horizontal comet in the middle of the night. The stars are getting longer, a blur of the white, winning every second in the interstellar fight.
The gravity is failing,
The gravity is gone,
I'm a ghost of the current and I'm
keeping it on,
align the coordinates, align the array.
watching as the galaxy begins to melt away.
Neon nebula,
Racing through the stars,
healing every memory,
and healing every scar.
kaleidoscope of motion,
Kaleidoscope of pure,
the only kind of speed and the only kind of cure.
neon nebula, shatter the divide,
With the entire universe,
standing by our side.
we drift around the planets, we drift around the sun, the longest of the races that was ever being run.
No friction on the rubber, no friction on the soul, taking the trajectory and taking the control. The radiation singing a symphony of blue, telling me the secrets that I thought I always knew. I turn the radio to catch a signal from the deep, a promise to the cosmos that I'm going to keep.
Rise alight,
Feel the heat, the universal rhythm,
the universal beat. Hyperspace. Neon nebula,
racing through the stars,
healing every memory
and healing every scar.
kaleidoscope of motion,
A kaleidoscope of pure,
the only kind of speed and the only kind of cure. Neon nebula,
shatter the divide,
the entire universe,
standing by our side. Destination, star drive active, nebula.
I pull the car over on the overlook high and watch the motherboard of the city in the night. A million little circuits flashing red and blue, every single window hiding someone that I knew. The traffic is a river of a glowing golden light, flowing through the canyons of the concrete might. I kill the roaring engine, let the silence take the wheel, taking just a moment to process what I feel. We built a world of magic, we built a world of wire, we covered up the nature with the neon fire. But standing here above it, so quiet and so still, I see the brutal beauty of the architect's will. Synthesized skyline, breathing in the dark, a grid of electricity, a cybernetic park. So beautiful and dangerous, so heavy and so grand. The greatest artificial creation of man. digital sky. The data streams are humming, the frequency so low. Oh, a lullaby of logic for the souls below. I wonder if the city is dreaming on its own, a consciousness awakening in the steel and in the storm. The smoke from my exhaust is fading in the breeze. I'm feeling so connected, feeling so at ease. The race is finally over, the adrenaline is gone, just waiting on the mountain for the breaking of the dawn. We built a world of magic, we built a world of wire. We covered up the nature with the neon fire, but standing here above it, so quiet and so still, I see the brutal beauty of the architect. So we'll synthesize skyline, breathing in the dark, a grid of electricity, a cybernetic park, so beautiful and dangerous, so heavy and so grand, the greatest artificial creation of man. Synthesized skyline, glowing in my eye. I'm just a little speck beneath the digital sky. The grid goes on forever, the lights will never die, a constellation built below the sky. Synthesized skyline, breathing in the dark, grid of electricity, a cybernetic park, so beautiful and dangerous, so heavy and so grand, the greatest artificial creation of man. Synthesized skyline, glowing in my eye. I'm just a little speck beneath the digital sky. Rest now, the night is over, skyline fades. The count is complete, the cycle is done. 200 battles that we finally won. From the acid rain to the golden light, we've mastered the rhythm of the endless night.
A digital kingdom, a digital crown, watching the walls of the silence fall down. 200 stories of the speed and the fire, the ultimate dream of the electric desire.
The energy is peaking, a river of gold, the greatest of legends that was ever being told.
We are the architects, we are the kings. Listen to the song that the universe sings.
Neon legacy, the 200th gear,
The end of a cycle.
I drove off the edge of the atmospheric dome, leaving the gravity of my neon-colored home. The tires catching traction on the dark matter waves, a journey of a lifetime that the solitary craves. The windshield is a viewport to a billion burning suns, where the universal highway infinitely runs. The hood of the car is reflecting milky white. I'm a navigator cruising in the ultimate of night. No traffic lights to stop me, no intersection jams, just riding on the wavelength of the cosmic holograms. I'm linking up the planets with a glowing trail of red, the greatest driving road that is stretching out ahead. Chrome constellation painting up the dark, leaving on the galaxy a cybernetic mark. I'm drafting off a comet, drifting around the moon, playing on the radio a classic retro tune. Chrome constellation shining in the deep, a beautiful velocity that the universe will keep. I pass a dying dwarf star, glowing in the blue. I remember all the neon signs that used to look like you. The isolation's heavy, but the freedom is so pure. This interstellar travel is the only kind of cure. I shift the gear to hyper, a streak of silver light. I'm swallowing the distance, I'm swallowing the night. A solitary driver in a chassis made of steel, experiencing exactly how eternity must feel. No traffic lights to stop me, no intersection jams, just riding on the wavelength of the cosmic holograms. I'm linking up the planets with a glowing trail of red, the greatest driving road that is stretching out ahead. Chrome constellation painting up the dark, leaving on the galaxy a cybernetic mark. I'm drafting off a comet, drifting around the moon, playing on the radio a classic retro tune. Chrome constellation shining in the deep, a beautiful velocity that the universe will keep. Connect the stars, draw the line. The universe is yours and Chrome constellation painting
at the center of the wheel. I'm cutting through the shadows, cutting through the rain, washing out the memory of the gravity and pain. The corporate walls are high, but the bumpers made of might, bringing down the barriers and bringing back the light. I'm a horizontal soldier with a heavy-duty frame. Nothing in the history will ever be the same. Hear the pistons chanting the violent refrain, drowning out the static and the corporate pain. I drop the heavy hammer, I kick it into gear. I am the only monster that the city has to fear. Chrome Crusader ruling the street, matching every heartbeat to the combat beat. A fortress on the highway, a titan in the dark, igniting the rebellion with the legendary spark. Chrome Crusader, armor and the soul, taking the objective and taking the control.
The skyscrapers are gardens made of silver and of gold, the greatest of the secrets that a city ever told. I'm driving on a ribbon made of stardust and of white, surrounded by the magic of the interstellar night. The windshield is a mirror to the galaxy above, searching for the frequency of an artificial love. My tires make no sound upon the river of the blue, following a dream that is entirely new. A constellation of the chrome, a constellation of the light, guiding every traveler in
the light remains.
Celestial.
About to begin. Keep the promise. Thou honored. The drive goes on. Velocity. Through the cables, cutting through the code. A horizontal virus on a high-speed road. The firewalls are failing, the servers are hot. Giving the syndicate everything I got. One hand on the steering, one hand on the key. Setting every captive frequency free. The towers are flickering, the towers are dim. Floating on the edge of the planetary rim. Overload the station, let the sparks start to arc. Lighting up the center of the cybernetic dark. The grid is a prison and I am the flare. A technological rebellion in the air. Circuit breaker, tearing up the grid. Revealing every secret that the masters hid. A short circuit anthem, a short circuit drive. The only way for the data to stay alive. Circuit breaker, shatter the control. Taking back the logic and taking back the soul. The interceptors glitch as I roll through the gate. A master of the optics and a master of fate. I'm washing out the
time never ends. Sanctuary.
The needle's dancing on the edge of the red. I'm living faster than the words that I said. I hit the button and the blue flame roars. I'm breaking through the cosmic heavy doors. The chassis shaking like a heart in a fist. I'm a ghost inside the radioactive mist. I don't need oxygen, I only need the bird. Beyond the point of the accident, so return. Pumping the poison, ignition is near. Drowning the logic and drowning the fear. The asphalt is melting, the rubber is gone. I'm holding the trigger and keeping it on. Nitrous overload, screaming in the car. Give me the fire, and then give me some more. I'm a bullet of metal, a streak in the night, shattering the limits of the human sight. Nitrous overload, tearing up the soul, losing the gravity and losing control. Losing control. The world is a tunnel of a distorted light. I'm a predator of speed in the middle of night. The interceptors are a joke in the glass, watching the atoms of the universe pass. My blood is a chemical, a lethal design, crossing the border and crossing the line. If the engine explodes, let it be in a flash. A beautiful ending in a digital crash. Burn the valve, break the seal, feel the power of the will, push it to the limit. Nitrous overload, screaming in the car. Give me the fire,
The smell of the noodles and the heavy spice. A crowded, beautiful neon paradise. I swerve around a robot selling the fish. Everything you want and everything you wish. The interceptors are right on my tail, smashing through the boxes of the bargain sale. Left through the noodles, right through the silk. Dodge the merchant selling synthetic milk. The crowd is a river of 100 dyes. Everything's a blur in my cybernetic eyes. Neon night market, a colorful race. 100 different cultures in a single space. Drifting past the stalls and the flickering signs. Crossing over all of the boundary lines. Neon night market, catching the heat. The heart of the city is on the street. Holographic dragons dancing in the air. I'm taking the corner with the reckless blare. Watch the porcelain shadow, watch the fabrics fly. I'm a horizontal rocket under the sky. The vendors are cursing, the children are in awe. I'm the fastest thing that the market ever saw. I jump the stairs of the temple of gold. The greatest escape that was ever being told. Through the smoke, through the crowd, turn it up, make it loud. Market cleared, losing the tail. Good night, Chinatown. Market cleared. I'm riding on the signal, I'm riding on the stream. The deadliest inhabitant of a digital dream. I drift across the firewalls, I slide across the code. A horizontal hazard on an invisible road. The radar starts to flicker when I roll into the view. I'm a horizontal nightmare coming straight after you. I don't follow the safety, I don't follow the plan. Catch me in the static if you think you really can. Shift into the chaos, let the reality tear. There's a smell of burning rubber and of ozone in the air. I'm a demon of the circuit, a soldier of the light, winning every battle in the middle of the night. Data drift devil, tearing up the grid. Proud of every dangerous thing that I ever did. A short circuit anthem, a short circuit drive. The only way for rebels to feel truly alive. Data drift devil, shatter the control. Taking back the logic and taking back the soul.
a brand new door.
Laptop on the dash, I'm bypassing the proxy, I'm breaking through the cache. The syndicate is following, 3 cruisers on my tail, but I have got a weapon that is never gonna fail. I point the roof antenna toward the starry night and handshake with the military rogue satellite, a piece of orbiting destruction floating in the cold. I upload the coordinates and watch the doom unfold. The sky is looking peaceful, the stars are looking bright, but there's an iron dragon waking up to claim the night. I punch the execute command and lock the laser aim. I'm bringing down the judgment in a cybernetic game. Rogue satellite raining from the sky, watching all the enemies evaporate and die. A pillar of the tungsten dropping from the upper space, erasing their existence, leaving not a single trace. Rogue satellite connected to my will. I'm the god of altitude, a deity of steel. The rearview mirror flashes with the blinding holy flash. The syndicate interceptors are turning into ash. The shock wave hits my bumper, pushing me ahead. The ultimate conclusion for the bounties on my head. I close the terminal connection, scrub the IP clean. The cleanest execution that the orbital has seen. The satellite goes dormant, hiding in the black, just waiting for the moment that I need to call it back. The sky is looking peaceful, the stars are looking bright, but there's an iron dragon waking up to claim the night. I punch the execute command and lock the laser aim. I'm bringing down the judgment in a cybernetic game. Rogue satellite raining from the sky, watching all the enemies evaporate and die. A pillar of the tungsten dropping from the upper space, erasing their existence, leaving not a single trace. Rogue altitude, a deity